It all starts in that dead quiet of the early morning, right before the dawn. The world is asleep, but in one forgotten village, something is very much awake. And someone is about to go missing.
So, when the sun finally breaks through and that morning silence is just deafening, there's only one question on everyone's mind. Where was Raghav?
And the first thing they find, well, it's just this chilling absence, an empty sleeping bag. You can almost imagine it still holding a trace of warmth. But the person who is in it? Gone.
And outside, it's even weirder. There's this thick, almost unnatural fog just clinging to everything. It's wrapped around their car like a shroud. You get the feeling that the air itself is watching.
And that's when they see it, streaked across the damp glass of the car, dozens and dozens of handprints. This, right here, is where our story really kicks off. A story about a group of young filmmakers, right? They went looking for a legend, but what they found instead was an absolute nightmare. Okay, so before we get to all this scary stuff, let's back up a bit, because this story, it doesn't actually start with fear. No, it starts with a dream, with ambition. It starts with a young director who is just desperate for his next big idea. So let's meet the crew. You've got Aarav, he's 25, the writer-director, full of ambition but stuck with a massive case of writer's block. So he gets his team together. There's Aman, his go-to director of photography, the guy with the camera and the vision. Then there's Mitali, she's kind of the glue holding the whole operation together. And finally, Raghav. He's the youngest, the most adventurous, the reckless one, always looking for a thrill. So they're all sitting around, brainstorming, just hitting a wall, right? And that's when Aman pipes up. He's like, guys, we need something real, something that's gonna get under people's skin. And he knows just the place, a village with a seriously dark history, a place so haunted, he says, all they have to do is turn on the camera and the movie will literally make itself.
Now, the story of this village. This isn't your typical ghost story. Oh no. This is a legend forged in the fire of a holy man's rage. Okay, so this history is what completely sealed the village's fate. Picture this. For hundreds of years, it's this peaceful place, right? All centered around an ancient temple that people say just manifested on its own. But then, about 40 years ago, this very old, very revered sadhu, a holy man, 100 years old, he comes for a 40-day meditation. And one night, some drunk kids from the village, they harass him. They mock him, they break his penance. And his reaction, well, his rage was absolute. So the sadhu stands up, and his voice is just filled with this cold, burning fire. And he says, "Just as you have devoured your senses, go, my curse will devour this entire village." And with that, he just turns his back and walks away. And from that moment on, the village was completely, utterly doomed.
And that is the story that Aarav and his crew were chasing. That's what led them to drive straight into the darkness, right towards the point of no return. As they're getting closer, they see this big, old, weathered sign. And it says, clear as day, entering this village is forbidden. But you know how it is, they're filmmakers. They just see it as atmosphere, a cool prop for their movie. So they drove right past it. Big mistake. It's 2 a.m. by the time they're settled. They're in this old, abandoned house right next to that ancient temple. And the air is just bitingly cold. That same weird fog is already rolling in, swallowing up every sound, leaving this deep, unsettling silence. A little while later, it's Raghav who stirs first. He gently shakes Mitali awake and just whispers, "Hey, can you hear that? It sounds like a voice." She listens, hears absolutely nothing, tells him he's dreaming, go back to sleep. But Raghav, he can't shake it. He can still hear it. Whispers, coming from the darkness outside, almost like they're calling to him. So next, he wakes up Aman. "Dude, listen," he says. And as Aman sits up, bleary-eyed, and looks towards the doorway, he sees it, just for a second, a shape darting past the opening. It moved so fast, with this impossible speed. It wasn't running, it was more like it was flying. And one thing was for sure, it was not human. Now, Raghav, being Raghav, is just thrilled. He's like, "Let's go check it out, man." He's excited. But Aman, he's hit by this sudden, ice-cold, primal fear. He's paralyzed. "Don't be a fool. Go to sleep," he snaps back, hoping to just shut it down.
But Raghav's sense of adventure, it was just way stronger than Aman's fear. He gets up and he steps out into that dark night all by himself.
And that single decision, right there, made in a split second of youthful curiosity, man, it would have consequences that would just echo for years. Because when that sun finally came up, the true price of their story became terrifyingly clear.
So, morning comes. The whispers are gone, but so is Raghav. And then the panic hits. I mean, real panic. They search everywhere. They're screaming his name till their throats are raw. And that's when it sinks in. They pull out their phones. No signal. Not a single bar. They are completely, totally cut off from the world. That one single night just shattered their lives. I mean, irrevocably. They never found Raghav, and the experience just broke them. Aarav, the ambitious director, he quit. Now he just writes for other people. Mitali, she left the film industry for good. And Aman, he never picked up a camera again. Not once. Fast forward 7 years. 7. Raghav's disappearance is still a complete mystery. The police, they closed the case. He's just another file listed as a missing person. And his family, they were left with nothing. No answers. Just this giant empty void where their son used to be.
You know, it's pretty chilling when you think about it. They weren't looking for a story about a curse, and in the end, they became a part of its haunting, unfinished legacy. It's just a brutal lesson that some doors, they really should never be opened, and some stories are just better left untold.
And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? They ignored a sign that explicitly told them to stay away. It begs the question, are some places just best left alone? What do you think?